Hey, welcome back. Since the weather's starting to get nice out, and here in Indiana we're on a mandatory no travel warning, I thought this would be a good time to do a 6-month update and answer some questions that I see on a constant basis, not only on my YouTube videos, but on some of the forums out there too. So the first question is, after 6 months, are you still happy with the unit? Yes, I'm very happy with the unit. Now, keep in mind, I'm coming from a Sync 2, and it was on a small 8-inch screen, and it wasn't a very advanced unit in the first place. So this is a big jump for me. I really like it. I like the way it functions, and it does have some quirks that you have to work around every once in a while, but overall I wouldn't go back at this point. And while we're talking about these infotainment systems, again, I think you can look at whether it's a aftermarket or an OEM version. I think all of them have quirks that you have to work around, and this is no different. I mean, I'm looking to buy a Tesla in the next, 6 to 8 months, and some people think that it is the most advanced infotainment system on the market right now, and you can go into those forums and you can hear people bitching and whining about the way it works or what it doesn't do or what they would like it to do better. So you're talking about a $45,000 to $70,000 car, and I guess the same thing can be said with the BMW, Audi, etc. So I don't think there's anything perfect out there in the first place. So for the money spent on this, I don't know, roughly $850, because I got everything with it, the Android Auto and the Apple CarPlay dongle to go with it. I'm really happy with the unit, and like any other system, it's gonna have a learning curve. What do I press to have this happen, and why is it doing that? And I'm gonna touch on that just a little bit here later in the video. Okay, before I move on, I want to touch on my configuration and how I set this up. I'm using Nova Launcher on the PX6 system. You can use any launcher that you want to, including the crappy little launcher that comes with it. I know there are some infotainment specific launchers out there. CarWeb Guru is one of them. I just prefer Nova Launcher, and one of the main reasons is because it still retains the Google command. If I want to say OK, Google, it'll pop up and let me speak to it. So that's why I prefer this. And I've been running Nova Launcher for years on Android phones and tablets, and I'm real familiar with it, but that's a personal choice. So, but again, I think it's a good choice. Now, the second thing that I want to touch on is once you've installed the PX6 system, you actually have two systems in your vehicle. You've got the PX6 system, its own amplifier, and then you have the original Sync system, whether it's Sync 2 or 3, and its own amplifier. Having two different amplifiers and two different systems can cause just a little confusion. And I want to do my best to explain it. And it's one of these things that you just have to learn how to do. So we're going to give this a shot. All right. So right now, what I have is I've got YouTube music playing in the background with the PX6 system. This is what you're seeing here. So I'll bring this up a big screen, okay? So that is YouTube music, and we're playing the Eagles playlist. All right. coming out of the PX6 system. Now, if I go back to the sync system, all right, it's then going to activate its own amplifier and go to the last source, and it's going to play. Now, if I want to go home, back to Nova Launcher or the PX6, I hit that button, and I still have that playing in the background, what is coming out of the sync system. And it will do that until you activate something on the PX6 system. So I'm going to bring music back up, hit the play button, all right, and it'll take a second for the intro to, there we go, okay. And that works like that every single time. I'm going to go back to console. There we go. Now, this is a quick way to get back to YouTube music. These are programmable. Think of them like Android shortcuts. There it is. And it's paused that music once the other amplifier took over. Hit it again. There we go. Now, where this sort of creates some problems is, it's really cool to be able to have, if you want to be able to have music playing in the background, just like any other system. We're listening to the Eagles. If I open up Waze, all right, so now I've got my music playing in the background, and I've got Waze running. And Waze has a little cool feature now too, where you can actually see this. So, but I can also be listening to one of my sources from the sync system and have Waze running as well. So I'm going to go back. All right, it's switching amplifiers, and then again, I'm going to use one of my quick shortcuts. Even though I'm hitting the navigation button, it's switching to the PX6 system and bringing up Waze. So, turn this down a little. So, right now, I'm listening to the FM radio out of the sync system, but I'm seeing Waze out of the PX6 system. Now, one of the downfalls of this is that since I'm using the amplifier from the sync system, I'm not going to get any audio alerts from Waze. It will still pop up, but normally it'll give you audio alerts too. So if you want to have those audio alerts, you're going to have to use one of your sources. And there's cool split screen, by the way. You're going to have to use one of your audio sources from your PX6 system. So if you're not getting the volume or the gain out of the PX6 amplifier that you expect, there's something you can try. And what I mean by that is, right now in the background I'm playing Eagles, and I'm on volume 4. Okay, and I can change the volume either through my steering wheel or the buttons here. Okay, so I'm on volume 7. Now if I go to the console, you're going to see that music is a little louder. And again, I can control it with either buttons. All right, now let's go back to music and start this back up. And you'll see the music, the volume difference here. Let me go here. So it looks like the gain on the sync system is a little higher than what it is on the PX6 system. Nothing you're going to do in the sync system is going to adjust the gain in the PX6 system, again, because you have two different amplifiers. So the way to do that, I'm going to go to the next song because this one's about ready to run out. So, all right. So you want to go into settings. I'm there. No, I don't want to see. All right, we're going to go into install set. The password is 666888. Okay. All right, now I'm going to fly back through the rest of this stuff. All right. Now, you have your gains here. All right. And the one that seems to control the music from the PX6 system is this other volume gain. I'm sure these do something else, the other ones here, but I'm not going to touch on those right now. So right now you see my volume set on 7. If I use other gain, there you go, it's adjusted. Now you just have to be careful with this, because you don't want distortion if you've got this turned up all the way to 35 and you start cranking your volume. So I generally set it around 20 and leave it like that. Let me turn this down now. So that's one way to do it. Now, I normally don't listen to anything coming out of the sync system. Even if you want to listen to something local in your city, you can install TuneIn Radio and ask Google to play it for you. Now, hopefully this won't screw things up, and my phone will go into OK Google too, but we can do this. OK Google, play WECI on TuneIn Radio. Not quick enough. Play WECI on TuneIn Radio. Now, WECI is the local college station here in town. So it's going to open this up. You've asked, well, it got WGCI, okay? I think you got the gist of this. Is you can ask Google to play your local radio stations if you install TuneIn, and you never have to worry about using the radio system in your car. And it's the same way with, I've got SiriusXM installed as an app instead of using it on the console. You can have a Bluetooth device plugged in. So, that is the way to get around that. So just to clarify a point, I mentioned that as I have it set up now, I have the sync system playing an FM station, and I have Waze going. And I said you don't receive audio alerts. You in fact receive them, you just don't hear them because the amplifier in the PX6 isn't active. It will still pop up on the screen though. So another question I get is, can you hide the top icons and the climate controls? Not by default. Now, as I understand it, there is a custom firmware that a gentleman has written that you can purchase for $100 that'll hide those, let you bring them up and hide them as you would like them. Now, that sounds like a cool idea in some respects, but I found that the top icons have been very useful. They act as basically icons that you have on your home screen. Is you can touch something and quickly go to it without having to dive too deep. So again, you saw me hit the navigation. If I want to hit the music button, that's going to take me, my default music player is YouTube music at this point. Assistant is Google Assistant. Settings is not an icon that is programmable. Navigation, console, music, assistant, all those are programmable through the settings. You can choose what you want to happen. As it's Explorer right now, I have Explorer set as Google Launcher. So, and you can see I have split screen too. Car auto, app list, movie, phone link, Bluetooth radio, none of those are configurable as well. You're going to get what you get when you push the button. So, and some of these are actually removable, and I've done so. And I'll see if I can show you that here in just a second. Another question I continuously get is, does this work or that work? And I'm referring to any of the OEM features that were actually in the vehicle, whether that's ambient lighting, cameras, mirrors, etc. To date, I have not found anything that did not work. So as an example, I'm going to go up here and let's see, here's my cameras. Now you can see this system doesn't take advantage of the whole screen. I mean, they've obviously dropped this in here to fill it up. And I'm going to touch on that here in just a second too, why it doesn't do that. But you can see I can go through all my camera settings, and there you go. And now I'll just drop it in reverse. And there, again, I have my camera settings, and I can change those, just like you always could. Back in park. So, again, nothing that the only thing that I have found, and this may be a setting and I've got it set up like I want it, so I haven't gone in here and messed around with it much, but on the sync screen, what used to happen, and I'm going to go back to the console mode to get there. So this would be what you'd normally have with just sync 2, sync 3, is used to have this door opening. When you open the doors, it would actually show on the screen, and now it only shows in the center console display above the steering wheel. Not a big thing, but and it may even be a setting that I just need to change. It's just something that I haven't been, quite honestly, that worried about. I mentioned that the camera system, the 360 system camera, and for those of you who just have backup cameras, it doesn't take advantage of the full screen. Remember, the video feed that you're getting is still coming out of the sync system, fed into the PX6 system. So it's just not scaled to take advantage of the full screen. And if they tried, the format would just be so far off that you wouldn't be able to see anything. If you would like to change what the top icons do, and I'm going to go home here, get out of this. This is really pretty simple. You can go into settings, and I'm going to make this larger. It's just under, for some odd reason, they've put it under navigation here. So you can see where I have my default map is set at Waze, default video player, MX player, default radio is TuneIn Radio. And what's really odd about this is that this radio is not this radio button. If I hit that, that actually takes me back to the radio itself. So, but there is a built-in radio here someplace. I believe there's an icon I could drag and drop and pull up TuneIn Radio, but with the OK Google commands, it's just as quick just to say OK Google and have it do what you want it to do. I'm asked if I use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and even though I have the dongle installed and the software installed in this, I don't use it. Number one, Android Auto doesn't take advantage of the full screen. If you look on some of my earlier videos, you'll see that. And CarPlay by Apple looks absolutely great. I don't have an iPhone, my wife does. Even that being said, I wouldn't use it. I just find it much better if I can see Waze in full screen, and then in the background stream the music that I would like to have. I'm often asked what applications can I run on this, on the Android tablet. Well, I've not found anything that doesn't work. There are times when something doesn't quite scale right, but it still functions. So And of course, there's millions of applications, and I haven't tried them all, but the most popular applications all work. The only applications that work in split screen are mostly the Google apps, whether that is, and Waze is a Google app. So Waze, YouTube Music, the Chrome browser, and a few others will allow you to do split screen with two different applications running at the same time, split screen. Besides that, I haven't found one that, again, of the most popular apps that the developers are writing correctly, 99% of them all work just fine, scale just fine, no problems whatsoever. I'm also asked, how does the system sound? It sounds great, and I'm no audiophile, but I do have an appreciation. I know it sounds bad, put it that way, and this does not sound bad. So this goes back to getting your gain under control. And then you do have an equalizer in this thing where you can adjust. I think it's a 5-band equalizer. So you can adjust some of the highs and low ends of this thing. Besides that, I think it sounds very good. So I hope I've answered some of the questions I've been getting lately. If there's anything else that you want to know about the system, please drop a comment below, and I'll do my best to get back with you as soon as possible. Hey, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time.